Hi there, I'm Roux. Welcome to my video where I talk about whatever I want. Inspired by D'Angelo I am, yes. And today I want to talk about cult leader Keith Raniere. Keith Raniere, born on August 26, 1960, was always looked at as a very clever person, very intellectual. Guinness World Records even had him do an IQ test and named him one of the smartest people in the world. Now, intellect doesn't make you a good or a bad person. It's what you do with it that dictates whether or not you're one or the other. He definitely chose to use his intellect for evil. From people who know him and who've known him throughout his childhood and his whole life, he's always had a huge ego and always had a huge need to control the people around him. So it's not surprising that he was very fascinated with multi-level marketing, aka pyramid schemes. If you don't know, pyramid schemes are built so that there's one person at the top and then people underneath and underneath and underneath, and everyone's basically leeching money off of each other, and the person at the top controls everything and basically gets hella rich, whilst everyone else is basically ruining their lives and losing all their money. And it's cloaked as if it's like this fantastic business opportunity. He did work in one, I think it was Amway, and after working there, he got the inspiration to start his own multi-level marketing scheme called Consumers Byline, where people could buy a membership per year, and then they would be able to buy in bulk together and get fabulous discounts. But also part of multi-level marketing is recruiting other people. And supposedly, if you recruited enough people, that would also make you hella bank, and you could make money off of it. Except Raniere wasn't paying anyone, and he was keeping all the money to himself. And it soon imploded. It was very popular in the beginning, and people were like, oh my god, this is the future, this is an amazing business structure. But then it imploded, and then the government, the FBI, was like, this is illegal, this is not okay. I'm not sure if he was convicted of anything, but the company did die. Yes. But he had gotten the taste for controlling people and for being the head honcho, because he loves being like the leader of a pack and for everyone to look up to him and worship him. I guess he realized that the best way to achieve that would be to start his own pseudo religion. So what he did was, he was very fascinated with Scientology and the way that Scientology is built and the way it operates. So he basically borrowed a lot of stuff from Scientology, aka stole, I don't know, copy-pasted. But then he mixed it up with like Buddhism, meditation, all kinds of like woke stuff to make it appealing to people and make them think like, oh yeah, this is a wonderful thing in my life. This is going to make my life so much better. And that was the beginning of NXIVM, advertising itself as a self-help lesson course. Expensive as hell, but people got really hooked. It was really intensive seminars that they went to, like paid like $12,000 to go to one 16-day seminar, and it's basically you're just cooped up with a bunch of people and being programmed basically into this NXIVM belief system. But you're not aware that that's what's happening, because in the beginning you just think, oh, we're learning new life strategies and this is going to help my life. It's basically you're not aware what's happening while it's happening. And then after the course you're like, oh my god, this is so amazing, I have to take another course. So people kept buying in and taking more courses and making themselves go bankrupt basically to attend these courses, and giving up their other social commitments and the rest of their life. And that's how it became more and more of a cult, because you would have to invest everything you had financially, and then you were so deep in it and deep into the mindset of NXIVM that it's like you feel like you can't leave because you've invested so much, and the only friends you have now are members of NXIVM, just like any other cult. And it was doing really well. It had members all over the world, it was really popular, and people genuinely thought that this was just like an amazing self-help thing. Until 2018, when a former member came out and exposed them for all the world to see. And what came out is truly horrifying, because apparently underneath the layers of, oh, this is just a self-help lesson thing, there was another secret society within the group called DOS that proclaimed that it was a female empowerment group run by women for women. And basically, you don't get invited to join this secret DOS thing that no one else knows about inside the group until after you've been in the group for a long time and you're already basically indoctrinated and programmed to, be a loyal follower. And what happened in DOS is truly barbaric. They would have these initiation ceremonies, but they wouldn't tell the members what was actually going to happen during these ceremonies. So women show up, and then they're told to take off all of their clothing. Because apparently you can't take in the real magnitude of the ritual and of accepting the philosophies unless you're naked and vulnerable. So they take off their clothing, and then they're pinned to a table and branded for 30 minutes. Imagine being branded for 30 minutes without anesthesia. And other people that you're close friends with, that you think people you can trust, are holding you down so you can't escape. And that's what this woman came out and showed the world, that this was really what NXIVM was all about. Also, turns out, DOS wasn't by women for women, it was controlled by Keith Raniere himself. And in reality, it wasn't a women's empowerment inner circle, it was his own personal harem. And it was run by none other than former star of Smallville, Allison Mack. I was so shook when I learned about this because I used to watch Smallville religiously every day after school when I was growing up. And I loved her character. She was this inquisitive, take no bullshit, investigative reporter. And then in real life, she was literally brainwashed into a cult. And there was no investigative or skepticism on her part, and she just became the right hand of a cult leader. I was so shook. But as I said, this DOS thing was actually just Keith Raniere's personal stables of concubines, whether they wanted to or not, because they would basically be encouraged, aka told, that they would have to sleep with him, otherwise they weren't loyal followers. Otherwise, they would have their information leaked. And that's a thing that he took from Scientology too, which is collateral, where you get your members to admit their deepest, darkest secrets and record it, and then you say, if you leave or if you speak out against me, I'm going to leak this and it's going to ruin your whole life. Sometimes they even make people make up stuff because they just don't have deep, dark secrets enough. But if they were to leak it, the world would believe that, of course, you're admitting to this, you must have done it. So women felt coerced to sleep with him. And of course, when that came out, NXIVM came crumbling down. He and his most loyal followers lived in New York, but they fled to Mexico. Don't worry though, the federales caught him, and he was extradited, and he's awaiting his trial on sex slavery. Because the whole thing about DOS was that the women would recruit other women, aka another pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing built organization, where one member recruits two members, those two members recruits more members. He loves multi-marketing organization. He loves that structure. And the whole thing was the women had to report to the person who recruited them as their master and call themselves slaves to that master. Yes. And as I said, not all of them were doing that voluntarily. I'm going to do a several-parter for this because there's just so much information, and if you like it, you should definitely come back for part 2, where I talk about possible murder at the hands of Keith Raniere. That's for Monday. It'll give you like a taste for what my true crime videos is going to be like. I hope you're waiting in suspense and that you'll come back for part 2. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have anything that you would like to add, any information, or your thoughts on this, do comment below. I always read your comments. You're pivotal to this video series. I post every weekday, Real Talk, Fridays, Reddit, and soon Wednesdays, True Crime. If you want to help me make this my full-time career, do come back and watch my videos and like and comment and subscribe and all that jazz. You're awesome. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons. Thank you for believing in me. I think a lot of the content that I will be covering might get demonetized because I talk about very real things that might be censored or might not be eligible for monetization. So if you're interested in being my patron and supporting what I do check out the link below. But yeah, thank you so much for coming by and checking out my videos. It really, really means everything to me. Okay, love you, bye.